I got an email from Erin, and she was like, hey, so we haven't found a good candidate yet. Was wondering if you'd like to apply.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of high school students. It's like, well, do you want to be hands-on? Do you want to do you want to go into the theory of things? Do you want to use your brain a lot, and critically think?
I think, honestly, if you think about it, you spend more time in your job than you do at home.
Right.
And we're a very small team, and so we try to make the changes as best as we can, and hopefully the students are enjoying their time. And there were some students who were like, oh, I've never thought about toxicology, but then I talked to them and they sound so cool.
Right.
And so that's what I really love about it, is because students get to network.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode with me. It's Katie Karen, and today we have two very cute guests who are twinning, and their names are Kreniene and Nitanis. Both of them are great friends, well, great acquaintances, and today we're going to get to know each other a bit more better. And both of them are in learning communities, if I'm not wrong. We're just going to pan the camera to them, and then I'm going to ask you guys, how was your day in general today?
My day?
Yeah.
Oh, it was really busy.
Oh.
Full of meetings.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess my name is Kreniene. I'm Kreniene.
Yes.
I'm the Learning Communities Coordinator for the College of Arts and Science. And
I'm Nitanis, and I'm also part of first year Learning Communities and Recruitment, we call it. So we're a unit about 5 people, and we put on all the events in the college, and we facilitate those first year type of just welcoming new students as they come into the college. Yeah. So today I'm a recruitment officer, Indigenous student recruitment officer for the College of Arts and Science. Today we were at a career fair at TCU Place.
Oh.
So I was downtown all day, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So kind of like those, I don't know, is that 7 hours?
Yeah.
It was pretty
all there, basically, I would say. Yeah, Nitanis was out. That's why we were kind of twinning. It's because I was in meetings all day. Nitanis was doing an event, so then you got to rep arts and science, right?
Right. Yeah. How did you guys get into this? When did you guys have a calling that, hey, after we graduate, we want to kind of get into this role? Or did it just kind of come in your pathway kind of thing?
Me first or you first? Well, you first.
I'll say that when I graduated, I was kind of at a bit of a loss of what to pursue as a career or as a job. I think a lot of new grads can feel that kind of this rush of kind of a little bit of panic maybe. I didn't really line up many career opportunities during my time there. I've had volunteer experience, but at a certain point, I just kind of was okay, universe, and so this role, I think my parents sent it to me, and then she was like, you should apply, and then see where it takes you. And at the time, I was like, well, they probably have so many great candidates, but I'll throw my my name in there. And I was really, really grateful to land this job. It's been such a great, I think I've been here about a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a really great year, and our unit is such a great team, and I love our unit, how small it is. Mm-hmm. So I'd say recruitment is a really good, I feel fulfilled most days. The tiredness, it kind of fades away when you think about the work that you do for student success. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's very fulfilling. So I'm really glad to be with the UGSO, with Kreniene. Yeah. How about yourself?
For me, it was kind of weird. So my entire undergrad, basically, I thought medicine.
Oh.
That was, yeah.
What did you major in, though?
I did anatomy and cell biology, which is one of the biomedical sciences. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Not because I'm old.
Yeah, I believe you.
It's just because, the departmental changes, program changes, etc. So for me, ever since high school, I was medicine. That's it. That's it for me. That's my end game. That's what I'm going to do. And then come 4th year, still set on medicine. Had applied. And of course, the process is long, right? Looking for seeing if you're gonna make it. I kind of had an idea of okay, if I get my result, it'll tell me if I actually want to do medicine or not. So as I was waiting, that same summer, a job opportunity came up with recruitment. Um, and I had asked originally the person who had put it up, which is Erin Greer. And she said, no, it's actually just for like students, like not graduating students, but continuing students. And so I said, okay, not for me, not my thing. Um, the result came, and I was actually genuinely happy not to be in medicine, and that told me everything I needed to know. I was like, okay, so that wasn't my passion.
Right.
And then I got an email from Erin, and she was like, hey, so we haven't found a good candidate yet. Was wondering if you'd like to apply.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
At that time, I was not graduated yet, technically.
Yeah.
So I applied, interviewed, and they said, okay, you should start. And then I became the recruitment summer student. Halfway through that summer, though, I was like, okay, like I'm graduated now. What am I going to do afterwards? Like, do I try medicine again? Is that something I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And then Erin came up to me, and she'd asked me if I wanted to be, she was developing these new positions, the International Student Recruitment Officer and the Indigenous Student Recruitment Officer for college and business students.
Yeah.
And she had asked me if I wanted to be in the interview panel.
Mm-hmm.
She said, hey, do you want to be in the interview panel? I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity, right? I've never done an interview before or facilitated it.
Right.
But then she sneakily afterwards said, unless you're planning to apply. And then I said, what? Like, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know, like, for me, the concept of, like, if you're in a job, you have to finish it off before applying to a new one.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could apply to another job while you're still
doing what you're doing.
And so I was like, what? You can do that? And she was like, absolutely. So I applied, and obviously, same as Nitanis, I was not fresh grad, right? Like I was not expecting anything at all. I was like, there's going to be so many good candidates for this. Like, there's no way. And then miraculously, she hired me, and then I became International Student Recruitment Officer for about a year. I did that, lots of fairs, lots of sleepless nights. Fun though. Like I love connecting with students. I really loved what I was doing. And then the learning communities coordinator position opened up, and a couple of people had approached me and said, hey, why don't you
try this?
Yeah. Like, think about this. Like, I think you'd be really good at it. And if it weren't for those people, I wouldn't have considered it at all. Right. So thank you to them. They know who they are. But yeah, so then I applied for it, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but I absolutely love where I am.
Yeah.
I love the LC gig so much.
Do you know, I like all the points that you guys really mentioned, especially how Nitanis mentioned about the universe thing, right? Like sometimes if things are meant to be, they kind of like come across your way, you know, like how you intended to do medicine, things didn't work out, and then you kind of had like a deviated pathway. Do you ever feel like this is important in like everyone's life? Not in a sense that like you don't get what you want, but it's kind of like sometimes you need universe to kind of tell you that, hey, you know, maybe what you're thinking is not the right pathway for you, but like a diverged pathway is a better opportunity for you. Because, you know, like sometimes when universe tells you that, you end up in a better career path than what you intended. Like, what do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to both sides. I think personally, I believe that, yeah, you can try. I think you can try really, really hard at one thing. And if it's just not meant to be, then it's just not meant to be in that way. And you can still wind up doing something closely related, or, you know, the more you try at something, it's just like your momentum from like your past like career path has already like carried forward. So it's not like it's not like I don't think my effort was wasted in arts and science at all. I think I'm really grateful for how things went, even though we had the pandemic. We had the pandemic in my third year, and like final year.
Yeah.
So kind of missed out on a big like part of university, like career, I guess you could call it the student life.
Yeah.
But like I just think that there's just things you can't control. And I think that's like not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
It's kind of just how you carry on. And yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. I can't imagine like working anywhere else right now. I mean, sure, that could change in the future. And like, yeah, but that's an interesting thought for sure.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think everything, I always say this, but like everything happens for a reason. Like whether or not things work out your way or it doesn't, like the universe is telling you something that you should be listening to.
Right.
Working for arts and science honestly has taught us so many things. And one of that is that you just have to embrace the pathways in front of you. Sometimes it's not your intended pathway, but maybe it's the right one. And there's so many all the time. Like we always joke around about this, but like we're always like, there's in a certain universe, a Kreniene is doing this,
right?
Or like in a certain universe, Kreniene is doing this instead. But like we're in this one, so I feel like it's nice to embrace what is laid upon in front of you, and like just follow that and see what happens come of it. There's a lot of students that we see that have a very rigid way of thinking about things.
Yeah.
And I feel like something that we always tell them is that there's no right or wrong. Like you just kind of have to feel for it.
Yeah, like for a person who, like myself, sometimes I'm very like indecisive. Like if there are kind of universe kind of telling you certain things, like how do you know it's the right thing to do? Like how do you classify something as the right thing to do? Like for example, you've graduated, you have an intended pathway, and then some like 5 things come across your way. How do you know like which one of those 5 things is the right thing to do? It's a tough question. I feel it's a hard one to answer.
For me, a lot of things happened. So while I was in recruitment, I also applied into nursing. I actually applied into nursing 3 times.
Oh.
And I withdrew my application 3 times.
Okay.
I think they probably think I'm joking around at this point.
I trust you.
Yeah. But I think honestly, you just know. Like when you pick something, you'll know it deep down. Like lots of the choices that we make, even though we don't make it like right away, once you keep thinking about it, there's a reason. There's a reason why you're feeling that. There's a reason why you're choosing this. There's a reason why you keep thinking about it. So I think for me, it's the right path when you get on it, and then you're like, oh, this is actually smooth sailing than I thought. It wasn't as scary.
Right.
Choosing is scary. It always is scary, especially if there's like you said, 5 things in front of you, right? But I think once you actually make a choice, you'll know if it's right or wrong.
Right.
Yeah. Similarly, like when I entered the university, I was undecided, which is like kind of like a classic like case of arts and sciences being undecided or undeclared. So I think for about 2 or 3 years, I was just taking general studies.
Right.
And it came to this point where I had gotten to a point in my degree where I was like, okay, well, I have to figure out something. So I think I remember sitting down at the computer, and all day I just went through the course and program catalog, and I went through all the programs, and I finally settled on like 3 options. I narrowed it down, right? Because I was like, oh, I kind of was like, oh, I have enough knowledge to know that I dislike this path.
Right.
I can't see myself doing this. And a lot of the time, sometimes people don't have that. They don't have like enough knowledge about a field to even like make a decision.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of high school students is like, well, do you want to be hands-on? Do you want to like, do you want to go into the theory of things? Do you want to like, use your brain a lot, and like critically think, and like and it's really hard to explain that to a high schooler, right?
Yeah.
Because they know like a few career paths, and it's kind of like one of the interesting things about recruitment is like, how do you impart that knowledge to someone who's just so like unformed as like a person?
Yeah.
Because we make students pick very young, their career paths.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that there's so many people who they choose like education, they decide, hey, that's not for me, they have to stick out the entire degree,
Yeah.
right? And there's so many people who do like engineering. For example, our boss, he did an engineering degree. He decided, he finished that entire degree. Was not happy with it. He decided to go back. So it's just like, I feel like you pick a path and you can kind of like go along the path, but it's kind of just deciding like, this just doesn't feel right, like on, you know, like a certain level where it's like this, I don't agree with this, or, you know, but I kind of let the universe pick that too.
Yeah.
Where I was like, it's between English, Indigenous Studies, and Sociology. Because those were my main like classes. So I said, okay, I'm gonna try English, and if I fail this class in English, I'm going to choose a different degree. So I think the mark came back one day, and it was just enough to like get me into like English. It was like a really heavy theory course, and I decided, I was like, you know what, I will try it. I will stick with it, and I haven't like regretted it like since. I really love English. I love like writing essays. I think I've written probably a mini thesis like in my undergrad years.
Probably more than me.
Yeah, more than me too, actually. Yeah.
But like I think I'm kind of curious too, like how you see that kind of like, because you said you're an indecisive person.
Yeah.
So what do you?
I don't know. I have like a lot of influence on like I feel like all of the decisions that I kind of make in my life has like multiple influence. Like it's not just me.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes I consult for my parents because they've lived through life, you know? So like I trust in their judgment because, you know, they've experienced the ups and downs. They've gone through mistakes. They know I won't say every person's perfect and they know what's right and wrong, but they know to a greater extent and they know what's better, you know, because they've seen me grow my whole life. Sometimes I take external influences like people that are my mentors, you know, like they've been in that field, they've been in that career for years and like more years than what I have experienced, right? So for me, it's always like a multitude of perspectives rather than just my own, because sometimes I do feel like, well, not sometimes, I always feel like I'm indecisive, right? Like sometimes it's hard to pick. Sometimes it's like my gut feeling too, right? So it's like a lot of things that are together. I do believe that universe kind of guides your way through. So like I'm on your side on that, but I think it's like a bunch of things together, right? And I really like your point how usually in high school, you're just kind of limited to certain things. And it's like hard to find out in university, like what you actually like, right? Like, I don't know what you feel about this, but do you kind of feel like, and actually you mentioned that too already, but like how when you're doing a degree, you kind of started off, you know, usually in your first couple of years, you're not really taking those core classes. You're kind of taking those general classes. I don't know what it feels like for a nursing or like a medicine pre-med student, but mostly just for arts and science in general, right? Like you take very basic classes before you start to step into the core classes, right? Like, what do you feel like are the main reasons why people kind of pull back? Like if you're in your third year and you don't like things anymore, what's the main reason why people pull back from then deviating to different career, different education path? What do you think is the reason for that?
Well, I think I kind of have like a similar case to that. So in my year, I did like a first year general arts and science. I did like a learning community. I did ISAP, which stands for Indigenous Student Achievement Pathways, and it was a great way to kind of like it was you pick kind of like a selection of courses that are like based around your interests.
Right.
And in my head at the time, as I was completing them, I was like, wow, this is like really fun, but you can't possibly make a career out of like doing what you like, or you know what I mean? Like there was this part of my brain that was still like focused on, well, you know, stability or like these core jobs. Like, you know, you think about nurse, doctor, like when we're at the fairs, we hear a lot of lawyer, doctor, social worker.
Yeah, like those big jobs, right?
Tangible
like,
careers, right?
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, okay, I know people in my life who, like my mom, she did like an Indigenous Studies degree, and she went on to work for the government, right? And then so it was like, okay, I have one person here, and then I knew my grandmother was a social worker, so I was like, okay, I'm empathetic, you know, I think I can do it, like, so I decided to like pivot to social work. So my second year was all about like, okay, I'm gonna get into the faculty, and I became so goal driven of like getting into the faculty of social work. I switched to U of R. I did all this like research, and it gave me a goal, right?
Yeah.
But then when I got into the I was so close to getting into the faculty, and I think it was just before I got in that I was like, it was just one pandemic. Like during the pandemic, they made us do a lot of group work on Zoom, and I remember I was kind of, I think what drove me away from that career path was honestly my peers, because I knew that one day they would become my colleagues. And the peers in the class, like, I just think it was like, there was just this mindset in there that it was like everyone for themselves. Whereas like social work should be you're collaborating and
for someone else, right? Like,
So I found it competitive. I found that kind of like drove me away from chasing that. And I thought, well, I don't like, you walk into a wrong room. Right. You don't have to like stay in the wrong room. You can kind of like pivot, turn around. I just went straight back to arts and science, and I was like, okay, back to
square one.
Yeah. So that's my kind of experience with that. I think students can become so wrapped up in chasing a goal. Like it almost gives you like this rush to chase something, like to have a dream, to reignite a dream, especially if you come from a background where, maybe you had a different goal as a kid or something. For me, I wanted to be an artist. So this was kind of like a second chance to be something in like my parents' eyes or something. You know what I mean? Like chasing that validation.
Yeah.
So then when the validation comes from internally, like you can kind of, I don't know, it's just a big shift, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially in your adolescence.
Yeah.
But curious.
I mean, mine is completely different. Being a BMSC student is like, I talk about it and how you shouldn't be rigid, but honestly, like my undergrad, it was pretty rigid.
Right.
When you come into BMSC, you have to know that you want to be there.
Right.
Because every room that you go into is going to be competitive. So it's completely opposite to what you say, where you're like, I went into the room, they're all competitive, I got out. But for me, it's like, I went into the room, they're all competitive, I am too. So
you stayed there.
I stayed there, and I proved, like, for me, it was like, this is my place.
Right.
I want to be here.
Yeah.
So it was completely different to like, but I think that's the reason why a lot of students in the BMSCs go away. Yes, it's the competitive nature, but I think it's eventually burnout because you're proving so much before you're even starting to do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just completing your degree. There's no expectations there. You are setting expectations for yourself. So I feel like once they get into it, they're like, wait a minute. This is kind of not what I signed up for. Like, I really like the theory. I love the science. I love the math. But then you get into it, and then you're like, oh, wait a second. Like, this is too much. This isn't really my jam. And I think that's kind of why they pull away.
Right.
And a lot of them also realize that they're not doing it for them. A lot of them, finally it kicks in. They're like, do I like this? Am I doing this because I like it? Or am I doing this because I'm proving something to someone about my own choices for my life?
Right.
And I think that's the difference. Our field is like medicine, sciencey, that type of thing. It's very, very competitive. It always has been. And I feel like it is the reason why people pull away.
I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, you can't really do that much.
No.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh, okay, like, it's competitive. I can be competitive too. And I'll keep being competitive, but then you somehow lose yourself somewhere along the road.
Very good point.
It can get like, if you're really not born for it too, it's like, it can take a toll on you for sure.
Yeah. Like how you mentioned, like you kind of lose yourself along the way. Do you kind of feel like, I don't know how you guys are as a person, right? Like, I know you as friends, but I don't know you guys in real life, right? Like, well, I know you in real life, but not like person in real life, right? Yeah. So do you ever feel like you all, like, well, not you, but like in general, people in the world, they kind of look for a job where, whatever they've lost pieces of themselves in education, they try to find that in their job. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, for example, in real life, let's say you didn't have like a great family structure, like a traditional family. And then you kind of pivot into going into kind of your acting path, where you're being like an actor because you're trying to find yourself in that job kind of thing. Do you kind of feel like it's the same way for everyone? Like, do you think everyone describes job as like escaping from reality kind of thing? Or do you feel like jobs or whatever career pathway you do is kind of like to retrieve yourself and your inner passions?
I think, sorry,
Go ahead.
yeah, I think, honestly, if you think about it, you spend more time in your job than you do at home.
Right. That's actually a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Because for us, it's 8:30 to 4:30. So Nitanis and I are seeing each other for 8 hours in a day.
Yeah.
You go home, you sleep, you eat. Like, you spend more time socializing with the people at your job than you do with maybe other people in your life. And that's why it's important to find a job that you like. And if you find a job that you like, that means something in there clicked for you.
Right.
So to me, I do agree, like where people try to find themselves in their jobs, but at the same time, it's because they're trying to grow, right, as people. I don't know if it's kind of like a lack of education, or maybe it's, for me, I think it's like they learn something and they want to keep learning. And the best way to do that is to do that at your job, because that's where you're at basically for a better part of your week.
Right.
So you have to like it. You have to find yourself in it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting that you say that, because there was this, I think it was like this psychologist I was talking to one time. She had like she was getting her doctorate in psychology, and or it was someone else in the psychology field, but they were saying like actors or something like that, like the drama field. They're saying like, oh, like attachment style and like all these actors, but they're like, oh, and like actors, like don't even get me started about actors, and like their inner, like their attachment style is just so, like they want to be seen by everyone in the world, but like the people, like they don't want to be seen like close up by like people in their life. So it's like being close to everyone else, like in, you know, like movie stars and stuff, like everyone knows their face, but like who really knows them, like personally.
Right.
I just think that's kind of interesting that you bring that up. But I think for myself, I think I think I'm really blessed and privileged to work within like the university setting, because it's very different from, say, like a corporate job where, like, you know, like there's different expectations, there's tasks and things like that, and it relates to like making money for a company. Whereas like university is kind of, you know, it's like a knowledge base, and you're collaborating with teams to kind of put things together for students who you would hope are like the future of the world, like, you know, the future of like our province and our you know, our country. So I think like I really like being at the forefront, or like being in this place where you're helping to like hand off knowledge, and like you're paying professors to, like, you know, come in and teach about their specialized fields. And I think that's part of what really drew me in, was just how you can kind of really get really niche into like interests as professors, like especially with an English, like humanities degrees as well. And I think that, yeah, like part of me has always been like a knowledge seeker, and like, and I believe education is, it's a privilege, right? And that higher education is such a, it really changes how you think and see the world and engage with others. And I think that, you know, if I were to have not had this opportunity, I think it would be in a very different place. So like, I think us as in like professionals now, like moving within, we get to navigate through different positions in the university. And I think that's a really specialized way of, you know, like you said, exploring yourself, your interests, and like where you see yourself in student service or different aspects of university. But then it's also, you know, if I didn't really have that, I don't think I can see myself working in any other environment where, you know, I'm working for a company to like see like you're making profit for a company. I think that's a very different mindset. And I don't know if people necessarily reflect on themselves within those positions enough to, you know, past like money in a certain sense. Do you know what I mean? Like capitalism.
And I agree with that. Like the when Nitana said like we're really privileged to work in an education sector.
Mm.
I think that's why for us it's like, oh, um, yes, maybe there was gaps during our undergraduate that we weren't able to fulfill, but we still are able to now because we work in a university setting.
Yeah.
So we get to actually like learn so much more from
Mm.
everyone around us, around scholars, and now other professionals as well. Like it's kind of crazy to think about that we're professionals now. We find it hard to still think about it, but yeah.
You guys are doing a great job. Well, I remember like during my first year, I was part of the Flex learning community. I personally think it's like one of the most important things. Like I've met so many great friends. Like I've met Kate, like she's one of my closest friends now. So, you know, like there's so many people that you get to meet because they have like the same interests, the same classes, the same major, right? Like, have you guys ever taken the learning community or did it exist when you guys were studying? And also, now when you conduct those or actually manage to conduct those, do you guys do anything different based off of what you learned as a student when you were part of it, you know?
I guess I can answer.
Yeah, let's let you take that one.
Well, Nitanis was an ISAP, which is the Indigenous Student Achievement Pathways.
Right.
It's not part of my portfolio per se, but it is one of our learning communities, arts and science. But I myself was in Flex too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Back in 2018, that first semester, fresh off of high school, I was so excited. I was like, these are the keeners, these are everyone. But also when I stepped into the room, very much like that. I stepped in, they all wanted to be in medicine. I was like, immediately, I was like, you are all competition. I was like, immediately locked in. But I had such a great time. And to me, it's kind of crazy that I am now the one who coordinates them.
Yeah.
Just because it's become like a full circle.
Mm.
So for me, I still feel like, wow, like I was just the student who was taking this, and now I'm the one who's in charge of making them and training the peer mentors that get to talk to them. Like it's definitely a full circle moment. And whenever, like, the thing about LC is it changes every year. You never know the students that come in.
Right.
The interests have varied over the years. Like I think last year or maybe the year before, like there's a big focus on the sciences, and now students that coming in are like, I want to be in law. I want to do some humanities, social sciences, like, you know, those types of things. This year we're like, it's our first year to have 2 students who are in comp sci, 2 peer mentors who are in either comp sci or account statistics.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like we're getting like such a diversity of students.
Yeah.
So I think for programming it changes quite often, but that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
It's because you get to know the students, you get to know the peer mentors, and then you get to cater to what they need.
Right.
And I feel like it's always nice to personalize it too, because you never know the students that you're gonna get. They have so many different questions. Like, so that's why it's really cool. The job is really cool in general. But yeah, so that's Flex. And then USTEP, which is the other program that I manage, which is the University of Saskatchewan Transition Entrance Program. Such a mouthful, so we just say USTEP instead.
Yeah.
It's an alternative admissions pathway. And what that means is when a student basically does not reach the admissions average of the college of their choice,
right,
it's another way for them to get a head start in university. My Melissa always says, like, Melissa Credo, director of undergraduate student services, I believe. Records.
Yeah.
Melissa. She always says it's the program that we wish we could offer to everybody, because our USTEP students, they get a lot more support. And because we believe that, you know, their high school marks or how they performed in high school does not reflect the ability or whatever they might do in university.
And these are students like directly from high school, or like anyone taking a gap year?
It could be like anyone under the age of 21.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And what I really love about that one is we get to make like active, positive, not changes, but like influence on their pathways. And so that's why I really love about it. With that one too, like programming changes all the time.
Right.
All the time, but we're getting the hang of it. It's an ongoing process. It's a university-wide program, so it's a pretty big program. We're a very small team, and so we try to make the changes as best as we can, and hopefully the students are enjoying their time.
I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? Like when you have a variety, it keeps you on your toes, and then like gives you challenges like almost every day. So keeps you on your toes.
Well, the students won't come if we don't have the recruitment team too.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
They get to do their own stuff. They get to talk about Flex and USTEP. So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a variation of students that you think are more interested in LCs or
like within recruitment?
Yeah.
So high schoolers it depends. It depends on how keen the student is, like you're mentioning. So there's some students who they come and word of mouth is a really big way for students to kind of learn about programs, or they have family members who come to the university. It's just people who've been through the program. So the more people go through Flex, the more people go through USTEP, the more the word gets out, and it spreads like that. I think because we're in a smaller city and province, that's kind of how it is. And then we also make sure to present the knowledge to counselors. So making sure high school counselors are up to date on the most current knowledge, making sure our website is up to date. But mostly, I think it's probably many students who, like you mentioned, like BMSC is a big one that fills up quite quick.
Right.
And then also another one that fills up quite quick is that Indigenous Studies, like LC, where it's the 107, because if they can get into that one, it's part of like that early requirement. It's a college requirement. Yeah.
Right.
But basically the students that we get is it's a teamwork.
Yeah.
I think we have such a small team, and so if recruitment, they don't get to recruit the students, then I won't have students to work with. So it's kind of like a give and take.
Right. And like, where do you promote all of these learning communities? Like, if you had to tell the audience where to find you guys, where do I find you guys?
USAS website. It's out there. We also have, like, the Arts and Science Instagram.
Right. Yeah, I've seen those.
We take it. Yeah, we really do a lot there. Nitanis and Danny, our other recruitment officer, they do Instagram lives all the time. We have the ambassador platform that we use where they can chat with ambassadors.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Uni Buddy. Is it the same thing now?
We've changed now.
Okay.
We've partnered up with the ambassador platform.
Okay.
And there's content there, student generated content. Literally everywhere. You can search up Flex.
Yeah.
Arts and Science, USAS, and it'll pop up.
Perfect. Yeah. What's the biggest event that you guys have ever had? Like the highest amounts of like show ups? Or the most successful event, I'll say it that way.
Okay.
And you can classify what successful means to you,
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, during my first year within recruitment, we are in charge of putting on. So there's a few prospective events, and then there's incoming student events, which is part of that first year kind of like portfolio, where it's like that gray area, between when students are accepted, and then when they come in the fall. So I would say that well, I'm kind of biased. So last year's fall orientation, that was such a crazy event to coordinate, I think, and it was such a big learning experience. Coming from a background where you can coordinate like smaller activities, but coordinating an event where I think we had about 900 students show up. So we had 800 and some registered, and then we had 157 walk-ups. So people who just like kind of registered that morning, or they didn't get to. So we had to seat them all. I'd say you can classify events based on success like through numbers, but I think it was just kind of an energy that you felt like in the air, whereas just like our team is such a small team. I think there was like 4 of us at the time, five of us at the time, and it's all hands on deck for that that first year. And I think like just feeling the excitement of the students and seeing, like, definitely we do this activity where you make them, like, we did like an icebreaker, making them make friends with each other and not be so shy. I think like that's a big thing to facilitate is making sure that you know that at least, at the very least, that you know a familiar face.
Right.
If not, you don't have to know everyone's name,
Right.
but it's nice to know your peers, right?
Yeah.
And you can be like, oh, I knew that person. I seen them on the first day of this.
Yeah.
So I think that was, I really love that event. I'm really like,
she's biased.
Yeah, I'm biased.
I guess I can speak. I can speak to both. Like the recruitment side, like Nitanis said, they coordinate so many events throughout the year. Like we cater to so many students. We have orientation, open house, major possibilities, you start, lots of different things. And I would say probably one of the ones for recruitment that I love the most is either open house or major possibilities. We just get such big turnouts for those. And I think open house for sure is the biggest recruitment event for incoming students.
Right.
Meanwhile, major possibilities is the biggest event probably for actual current students. And just to explain what it is we get the departments to come set up a booth and get students to talk to them in that first month, see if they change their mind, if they want to take a course, if they want to switch their majors. It's nice to talk to the departments to actually figure out, okay, that actually sounds interesting. And there were some students who were like, oh, I've never thought about toxicology, but then I talked to them and they sound so cool.
Right.
And so that's what I really love about it, is because students get to network and actually get to find out what they like. With open house, it's such a crazy day. It starts, there's like counselors, there's parents, there's students, there's tours. So there's a lot of things happening at the same time, but all of it goes towards that incoming first year experience. Them getting to see what arts and science is like, what we offer, what we have. On the flip side of that, I think my favorite event in terms of learning communities is probably the end of year peer leader party that we do. At the end of the year, we try to recognize and appreciate and celebrate our peer leaders, both ambassadors and peer mentors. And it's just such a fun time seeing everyone make it through the year and like their growth from like their first time being an ambassador or a peer mentor to their very last interaction with a student before summer hits. Like it's just such a nice thing to see them grow like that. And so I think that's probably my favorite one for peer mentors or for learning communities.
Okay, that reminds me. I'm going to give you guys like 2 really cute gift cards. So this is from Nestor's Bakery.
Can I just pass it?
Sure. Yeah, it's the same thing, right? So they're Nestor's Bakery. They're both on 8th Street, Clarence, and they have multiple stores around the city. So they do really good bakery. So feel free to visit them. They're cute little sponsors for the podcast. Nestor's Bakery.
Shout out Nestor's.
Yes.
Nestor's. Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you guys so much. You guys have been really raw with your thoughts. I really didn't expect us to speak so much about the philosophy and the wellness part of things, right? I think that was a really nice turn. Maybe universe wanted that. We don't know. But it was really sweet talking to you guys. I really never expected to have both of you at the podcast. I'm really glad that you were part of this. I don't know if you guys enjoyed it, but I really did.
I enjoyed it. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Do you have any last words for anyone wwho's watching for the video?
Follow the Arts and Science Instagram.
Yes.
Thanks for having us on your podcast. I think the philosophy of everything is really cool to get into.
Yeah.
Why do we actually make these choices,
Yeah.
I think a lot of our job revolves around that too. So I think it was a natural progression.
Right.
Yeah. So I think for everyone out there, let the universe decide. You do you.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, with that, I'm just going to say if you guys have any comments for both Kreniene and Nitanis, you can leave it in the comment section below, and we will all help to co-reply. We'll be very disciplined, and we will definitely respond to every single comment. And with that, on time, discipline, guys. So I really hope you've liked this podcast, and don't forget to subscribe, and keep following our cute little podcast. And with that, we're just going to say bye.